Hello, friends. I'm Laura Barat from laurabaratastrologer.com, and welcome to my channel. I'm sorry I haven't made a video in a while because I've been working and playing. It's the summer here. I live in the mountains, and it's just so brief that when outside of doing readings, I don't want to do anything else. I just want to hike and bike and enjoy the sun while it's here, because we get about 8 to 7 months of snow, of solid snow. And then I can get down to the nitty-gritty and start working, but right now I just love to enjoy myself in the summertime. So I just wanted to let you guys know that's what's going on. And then another thing I wanted to mention is that I've been working on 3 different courses of predicting relationships and marriage, and they are based on the techniques of Gemini, Parashara, and Tajika astrology, or the Varshafal solar return, which is Tajika astrology. And so I've been working on those courses. I'm going to offer those 3 courses separately with video and manuals, and also I'll be offering the entire course with all 3 courses at a discount. So I just wanted to make you all aware of that. And yeah, that's what I've been doing for the last month. Okay, so today I'm talking about Venus through the signs in a man's chart, and this ties into some of my coursework that I've been preparing for you all. There's a lot of things you can tell just by looking at Venus in a man's chart about the future wife or girlfriend. Okay, about the sign placement. Not only, you know, the natural indications of the sign influencing Venus, but it has to do with what planet is exalted or debilitated in that sign that Venus occupies. So for example, Venus in Aries. When a man has Venus in Aries, the wife or girlfriend is close to the father, is very comfortable with an authority position. She can gain a lot of authority and prestige, like the sun. She likes to try new and unique things. She's a very unique person. That's the sun, because he's exalted in Aries. And she has good luck with the authorities or people in power. That's also the sun. She will also have not such a great relationship with subordinates, with like assistants and people that work beneath her, which is Saturn, because Saturn is debilitated in Aries. She won't have such a great relationship, people doing jobs for her, like manual labor, landscaping jobs, roofing jobs, plumbing jobs, you know, all of those kind of physical manual labor jobs that are ruled by Saturn. She won't have very good relationships with these people. They may start a job, stop it, and not come back, and renegotiate a contract, and all those kinds of things. So that's how Venus in Aries acts in a man's chart. Okay, you can tell that about his future wife or girlfriend, or, you know, girlfriends in general. Venus in Taurus. The moon is exalted in Taurus, but nothing is debilitated in Taurus. So a man who has Venus in Taurus usually gets a wife or girlfriend who has a great relationship with her mother. They have a good relationship with the public, because the moon is the public. And they have a good relationship with women in general, because the moon rules women. So that's how you read that Venus in Taurus. Also, Venus in Taurus, the woman is very adept and very talented at getting what she wants, and getting what she needs to satisfy herself, because that's what the moon is about. The moon is about getting our needs met on this planet. It's a very social planet, as is Venus. The moon rules our face, so it rules all of our senses. And satisfying our senses is what the job of the moon. So the man that has this will get a wife that is very adept at getting what she needs and getting her needs met. Okay? Nothing is exalted or debilitated in Gemini. However, Jupiter does not do well in Gemini. And Mars does not do well in Gemini. So you can read it like that because Mercury is an enemy to Jupiter and Mars. So you can read it like the wife or the girlfriend does not have a good relationship with their siblings, or has problems with real estate and buildings or land. That's Mars. Or the wife or girlfriend does not have a good relationship with spiritual teachers, spiritual mentors, higher education, university education, things ruled by Jupiter. Or, has some problems with children or wealth, things like that. Okay? But it's not as strong as having a planet debilitated or exalted there. So nothing, four signs are like this: Gemini, Sag, Aquarius, and Leo, because nothing is exalted or debilitated there in those signs. And I do not use exaltations or debilitations of the nodes, Rahu and Ketu. So that's the system I use. Okay. So moving on to Venus in Cancer. Oh, and I wanted to give some examples of who has... I wanted to give some examples, and I forgot to give an example of Venus in Aries. And who has that is Chris Martin, and he's the lead singer of Coldplay. He was married to Gwyneth Paltrow, and she was very close with her father. She had an extremely close relationship with her father. It's well documented. So that's an example of Venus in Aries, okay? And Venus in Taurus is the Duke of Windsor, Prince William, and the Duke of Windsor and Prince William. And both of Prince William is married to Kate Middleton. He's the second in line to the throne, I think. He's Prince Charles' son. And she's very good with the public. She had a close relationship with her mother. And so that shows you how that Venus and Taurus will work. And then the Duke of Windsor is married to the Queen of England, and she's a queen and, well liked by the public, as far as I know, for the most part. And it's funny too, because the moon, which is exalted in Taurus, is the queen of the planetary kingdom. So that kind of works very well there. And so Venus in Cancer, okay, Jupiter is exalted in Cancer. So this means that the man who has Venus in Cancer will get a wife or a girlfriend who is very knowledgeable, who loves higher learning, who does well in university education, someone who does well with money and children, someone who experiences the husband in a very satisfying a way where he's like a teacher to her. He teaches her things. He opens up to her new horizons, things like that, all Jupiterian type of things. And a woman who likes spirituality, gets really good spiritual mentors, and enjoys spiritual paths, okay? Isn't disappointed by them. Leo, okay, oops, I forgot to tell you. Okay, so who has Venus in Cancer in a man's chart? Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold Schwarzenegger was married to Maria Shriver, and she was a journalist and also one of the Kennedys. So she obviously had a lot of wealth and a very educated, smart lady. Okay? And then who else? Ernest Hemingway. All four of his wives, he's married 4 times, especially the third wife I'm thinking of, but all 4 of them were extremely intelligent women, highly accomplished, especially the third one. She was a journalist, a very well-renowned journalist. So their experiences of him, he probably opened up a lot of new horizons for them, got them thinking in different ways. That's what Jupiter does. He likes to think big. He likes to do big things. He likes to throw his weight around. There's actually one of the names for Jupiter, Guru, actually means weight, because it's somebody who has weight. They have power. They have influence. They're weighty, So, so somebody who has strong Jupiter, in generally speaking, it likes to throw their weight around. They like to be known for something as the best at it. Okay. So, Venus in Cancer will really, give that to the woman in a man's life, a man who has Venus in Cancer. Now, Mars is debilitated in Cancer. So the wife will have problematic situations with their siblings, except for the eldest, which is ruled by Saturn. The woman will might have some issues with buildings and land and real estate, all ruled by Mars. She may not be that athletic, or she might have asthma or something like that, which prevents her from engaging in martial activity, which is extreme exercise. Or, she could have problems with gems and jewelry, things that come from the earth, all ruled by Mars. Okay? Now, Venus in Leo, nothing is debilitated or exalted in Leo. However, the sun it's the Mula Tricona of the sun, and the sun's own sign as well. The sun does very well there. So, Venus in Leo will give a wife or girlfriend who has a good relationship with authority figures and her father. And Saturn and Venus are starved there. So the woman will have some issues like in Aries with subordinates and things of a Saturnian nature. And she might also have issues with love affairs, okay, because of Venus being starved in that sign. But again, these aren't nearly as important as the exaltations and debilitations, okay? Venus in Virgo. This is the debilitated sign of Venus and the exalted sign of Mercury. So the woman will have great luck with her friends. She'll have a good business sense. She'll be very skillful with her hands, maybe even an artist or a performing artist, because that's what Mercury rules according to Gemini, because it's the skill that we have to make a work of art, either performing or with, painting or something. The actual finished product, the actual play or the television show or the painting or the sculpture, that's ruled by Venus. But the skill that goes behind it, that's ruled by Mercury. Okay. But the woman will have probably not the best, relationships with being in love affairs. They probably had some negative experiences in love affairs, which is ruled by Venus. And, she probably has some issues with her vehicles, her cars, boats, bicycle, whatever. That's all ruled by Venus. And also in psychological therapy, mundane therapies may not suit her as well as other avenues of improving herself, because that's all ruled by Venus. Okay. And for an example, we've got Sean Penn has Venus in Virgo, and John Lennon has Venus in Virgo. So John Lennon was married to Cindy before he was married to Yoko. And that was a sad marriage. I mean, she was very hurt by John. He neglected her. He cheated on her. He left her for Yoko. She was not happy. Okay. She wasn't, taken care of. And, that shows in his Venus in Virgo. Now with Yoko, as far as I know, he really loved her a lot and she really loved him. But when they got married, she was treated terribly in the press. And no one liked her in Britain, not really in America either. She was blamed for being, or for breaking up the Beatles. And, you know, people just didn't really take to her. She kind of exuded this standoffish, arrogant quality. And I guess people didn't like that. But that probably had a big effect on her experience of the marriage, to John. Even though, you know, when they were alone, they really were very soulmate, type of couple. But I'm sure all of that negative publicity had an effect on her, and she wouldn't have had it if she had not married John. Okay. And then, moving on to Venus in Libra. So the sun is debilitated in Libra, and Saturn is exalted in Libra. So the wife or the girlfriend of a man who has Venus in Libra won't have that great of a relationship with her father or with authority figures in general, or they lose their father at a very young age. But the woman will have great experiences with subordinate servants, you know, people, you know, manual labor that she pays people to do. With wild animals, she'll have good experiences. Saturn rules wild animals, believe it or not. And Mother Nature, you know, she'll have good experiences in nature. Saturn rules Mother Nature. So that is how that would manifest. And let's see. Okay, so Venus in Scorpio. Oh, I want to give some examples of Venus in Libra. So Ted Hughes. Ted Hughes is the poet. He was married to Sylvia Plath, the poet that committed suicide. And Sylvia Plath lost her father when she was very young. I think like 7 years old. It was either 7 or 10 years old. But it really affected her in a negative way. So that shows that the sun debilitated there, right? And then Prince Harry. Prince Harry has Venus in Libra. Prince Harry married Meghan Markle, and Meghan Markle has a less than stellar relationship with her father. That's well documented. It's very problematic. So that's Venus in Libra. Moving on to Venus in Scorpio. So nothing is exalted in Scorpio, but nothing is exalted in Scorpio, but the moon is debilitated in Scorpio. So the man who has Venus in Scorpio will get a wife or a girlfriend who has kind of a negative, challenging relationship with her mother. And some examples of that is Arthur Miller. Arthur Miller was married to Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Monroe's mother, Gladys, was schizophrenic and was in and out of mental institutions and couldn't take care of her. She was jumping around from foster home to foster home. Very sad childhood. Okay. And then there's someone Ted Turner. Ted Turner started CNN, if you don't know who that is. And Ted Turner was married to Jane Fonda. Jane's mother committed suicide when she was, I don't know, like 12, 13. And she was actually in a mental institution before that. So very sad, relationship with the mother. Tragic relationship with the mother for Venus being in Scorpio. And, these are extreme cases. I did a lot of research on this, and there's some people, you don't really know what their relationship with their parents were, but, these are extreme cases to show you the examples. Okay, so nothing is exalted in Sag or debilitated in Sag, but Jupiter, of course, is in his Mula Tricona. So Jupiter is very powerful in Sagittarius. Venus in Sagittarius means that the woman the man gets is spiritual, very knowledgeable, has a lot of knowledge and higher learning, is good with money, good with kids, all the Jupiterian things, but not as much as having Venus in Cancer, where Jupiter is exalted. Okay. And Jupiter is an enemy of no planet. Okay. He's not an enemy to anyone. So, he's neutral to Venus and Mercury. That's about it. But so, there's no negative takeaways in that position of Venus and Sagittarius. Okay. Venus in Capricorn. Mars is exalted in Capricorn and Jupiter is debilitated in Capricorn. So the man with Venus in Capricorn will get a wife who probably has some problems with money and children, kind of really not into children that much, or not maternal, or, has a problematic relationship with children, has some issues with religion, spirituality, university education, things like that. Okay. But the woman will have a lot of skill in exercise and martial types of activities. She'll have a great acumen when it comes to real estate and buildings and land. She could own those things, she could be a manager of those things. She also has a lot of luck with jewelry, precious stones, gems, things like that. Those are all ruled by Mars. She can also have a really good relationship with her siblings, as that as well is ruled by Mars. Okay. And so, that's Venus in Capricorn. Nothing is exalted or debilitated in Aquarius. However, the Sun and Mars, just the Sun gets starved in Aquarius because Saturn is an enemy to the Sun. So if you want to read it like that, you can read it where Venus in Aquarius, the woman will have some problems with her father, but it's not nearly as challenging as having Venus in Libra, where the Sun is debilitated. Okay? And then Saturn does very well in Aquarius because that's the sign of his Mula Tricona and his own sign. So the woman will have great experiences with all the Saturnian things. She'll get good assistants, subordinates, people who work beneath her, people she's in charge of, people who do manual labor for her. She's good at concentration and focus, all Saturnian types of things. Okay. She can be fastidious because, Saturn likes to clean things up and Saturn likes to be alone. She can work very well alone. So that's how a Venus in Aquarius would manifest. Now, Venus in Pisces, that's Pisces' exalted position. So a man that has Venus in Pisces will get a wife who really enjoys cooking, aesthetics, making a beautiful home, probably a good interior decorator, a great cook, because Venus rules food and drink. Venus rules aesthetics. Her experiences of love affairs and marriage is probably excellent. Very happy experiences with those things. Good experiences with vehicles and any type of vehicle, because Venus is exalted in Pisces. Mercury is debilitated there, so the woman can have some issues with her being articulate, with learning new skills, working with their hands, and then have some issues with friends business. That's another thing that Mercury rules, is business. So, she might not be the best at those things or have problems with those things if she is involved with those types of mercurial things. Okay. And so some examples of, Venus in Pisces is Justin Bieber. He just got married to a model, and modeling is actually ruled by Venus because you're showing clothes and hair and makeup and all those things. Those are Venetian things. And And so, yeah, that's how that would manifest. Oh, and I forgot to give some examples of Venus in Capricorn. You know, that's where Jupiter is debilitated and Mars is exalted. So a good example of this is William Blake. And William Blake was a poet and an artist in England, I think in the 1800s, and he was married, and he was like a libertine. He did not believe in the institution of marriage, and he didn't believe in being monogamous with one person all of your life. He thought that was too restrictive, and so he was having affairs, and you know, he had one major affair and a little smaller affairs, and his wife kind of just put up with it. So the Jupiter is debilitated there. That's the husband. So her experience of him was less than stellar, you know, probably. I would imagine. So yeah, I wanted to give that example. So yeah, that's all today for Venus in a man's chart. And I hope you like this video. Please hit like and subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. And I'll be making videos more and more as the sun gets moves farther and farther south. Okay. All right. So talk to you guys later. Bye.